Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Meetinghouse of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worthiness and dignity of every person, and where we support each other on our spiritual search for truth and meaning. My name is Reverend Kate Wilkinson, and I am so glad that you are here this morning. Welcome to those of you in the room, and welcome also to those of you joining us via our live stream. Before we begin our worship service, I have just a few announcements to share with you. We're starting something new at coffee hour today, the UUMH Action Table. Every week, or as many weeks as we can, let's set ourselves up for success here. As many weeks as we can, we're going to offer you an action that you can take to support our Unitarian Universalist values in the world. This might be by writing a thank you note or signing a petition, by making a donation or calling a senator. Just one thing we can do a week to make us feel less hopeless and more powerful. Yay. At today's action table, you can meet Diane Turco of Cape Downwinders. She has worked tirelessly to get the Pilgrim Nuclear Power Plant station in Plymouth shut down, and now she is working to stop Holtec, the power plant's owner, from releasing radioactive and chemically contaminated wastewater into the ocean. There is a petition that you can sign if you are a Provincetown resident to get a non-binding public advisory question on the ballot for town meeting, which would show support for stopping Holtec discharging this contaminated water into the bay. So whether you are a Provincetown resident or not, stop by and say hi to Diane at our action table during coffee hour, and if you are a resident, consider signing the petition. Next, as part of our Winter Spirituality series, our Quaker-style worship continues on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. downstairs in Acker Bosworth Hall with Kenneth Sutton. This goes through the end of March. This is week 2 of our sermon series based on Brene Brown's idea that we must have strong backs, soft fronts, and wild hearts. We talked about strong backs and being brave last week. Today, we're going to talk about soft fronts and being tender, loving, and sometimes vulnerable. And we hope that you will be able to join us again next week as we explore wild hearts. Remember that all of our services are available online on our UUMH Provincetown YouTube channel, so you can always go back and watch any services that you missed. Finally, if you are here in person today, we hope that you will join us downstairs after the worship service ends for coffee and conversation and action. Let's take a moment now to affirm our Meetinghouse covenant. You can find this printed on the purple laminated cards in your pews, but I'm going to say it line by line, so you can also just repeat each line back to me. Love is the spirit of this Meetinghouse. This is our great covenant. To dwell together in peace. To seek the truth in love. And to help one another. Now, as we light our chalice here in the sanctuary, we invite those of you watching from home to light a candle wherever you are. In this way, we can feel connected even while we are apart. This morning, I invite our worship host, Vicki, and Jan to light our chalice for us.
Our chalice lighting is by Leah Durland Jones. As we light this flame, we remember friends and loved ones near and far, and we give thanks. As the fire burns brightly, We open our minds and hearts to new ways of being, and we feel alive. As the room glows with warmth and kindness, we extend our circle ever wider to welcome those who want to come in. And we know love.
Would you please join me now in singing our opening hymn, number 1031, Filled with Loving Kindness. That's hymn 1031 in the teal hymnals, Filled with Loving Kindness. And this is actually a metta meditation, which is a Buddhist practice of sending loving kindness out into the world. And we'll sing it 3 times. The first time using the word I, the second using you, and the third using we. Please rise as you are able. You may be seated. I invite you to join me now in a spirit of prayer and meditation. During the prayer or at any time during the service, you are invited to light a silent candle at the table to the right of the pulpit, where there is a journal to record your thoughts and prayers. After the prayer, we will sing together Spirit of Life, hymn number 123 in the gray hymnals. You can also find the words to this song printed on those same purple laminated cards. And we'll sing it first in English and then in Spanish. May we quiet ourselves now as the earth quiets herself at night. May we be in touch with our internal rhythms as the tides follow the moon. May we let go of our losses as the autumn trees do their leaves. May we use times of darkness to grow as bulbs do underground. As nature models to us each day, may we always, always turn towards the light. Amen. now invite Diana Mayer to share with us the story of the banners that used to hang at the back of the sanctuary, which are being returned today in just a moment. And after Diana finishes, I invite my 4 readers to come to the altar table for that. Welcome back, Diana.
Thank you. It's so lovely to be here. And yeah, it's just wonderful to be back. Nice to see you. The idea for these banners began about 15 years ago. I saw a group of 17th century Japanese kesa, Buddhist monks' robes, patchworks of gorgeous, richly colored silk brocades. They were displayed as wall hangings. This was, I think, at the MFA in Boston. I was intrigued by their visual similarity to patchwork quilts and by the history of the kesa form. According to Buddhist tradition, they were originally made by monks using cast-off donated fabric and dyed with subdued earth colors. Over time, the fabrics used became more luxurious and the colors more brilliant. We all have this desire for something fancier. I wondered what those earlier robes had looked like, and I found it interesting that in this, as in other religious and artistic traditions, there is an ongoing creative tension between simplicity and complexity, unadorned and embellished, plain and fancy. As a quilt maker, I thought at that time about making fabric compositions in the spirit of the earlier kesa from recycled cotton fabric colored with natural plant dyes. Well, a year or so later, in the spring of 2011, the Provincetown Green Arts Festival put out a call for submissions for eco-centric works to be displayed at a number of locations around town, including the grounds of the Meetinghouse. I thought my kesa project could fit, the board agreed, and volunteers from the congregation helped make it happen. So our kesa returned to the recycled fabric and natural dyes of Buddha's time, and were inspired by both the American crazy quilt tradition and the monk's robe. Their colors represent Cape Cod's 4 seasons. Much of the fabric is old sheets donated by Griff Griffiths. UU members and friends collected onion skins to make golden yellow dye. Mary Apt and Ave Gaffney, April Baxter, Cricket Comey and Linton Watts, Carol Klass, and Lorraine Kujawa designed and sewed blocks, and I assembled them into the 4 kesa. It was during this time that we were working on this project that the terrible tsunami of March 11th, 2011 struck Japan. So this work was dedicated to the memory of those lost in that disaster. The kesa were displayed on the fence in the garden during the art festival in April, then moved indoors. Exposure to the weather had already caused some fading. Many of the natural dyes are just not color fast. And over the years, they faded more and more. Whenever I visited here, I would feel sad about their appearance, and I thought that at some point they should simply be retired. However, a year ago, I was here for Cricket's memorial service, and Lorraine approached me afterward with the idea that the color could be restored using acrylic fabric paint. We corresponded about this over the next few months and did some experimenting with the paints. And then this past December, we got together to take the banners down, wash them, and decide how to proceed. We realized that the painting could not be accomplished quickly, and the most practical solution for me was for me to take them home and work on them gradually over the winter. As I got into this, I found it was not possible to reproduce the original colors exactly. Because of the fading, some of the original colors were not obvious, and though I had some photos, they weren't perfect guides. The acrylic colors are naturally brighter than the dyes, So the painting involved decisions about how to adapt without losing the original intent. So they're going to look a lot different than you last saw them. This work was tremendously satisfying for me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do it. I could not have done it without the support of Lorraine and her physical help, especially in getting them back up there into the organ loft and reattaching them. And the next time this has to be done, if ever, we suggest that somebody younger than 80 volunteer to do it. The cases should now be good for some more years, but do not think of them as permanent. Impermanence is in their nature as it is in ours. So enjoy them while they last.
Thank you so much, Diana and Lorraine. In honor of presenting our newly restored cases, we want to share a haiku for each season as they are presented. Do you remember learning haiku poetry when you were little? 3 lines. The first line has 5 syllables, the second 7, and the third 5. And these poems are by Laura Alderson, Patricia Sisko, Anne Southall, and Ian McMillan. And I invite our readers to the front, but I invite you all to turn to the back as you are able.
Winter, I can see my breath. It says, look how cold it is. The words freeze solid.
Spring. Spring garden dreaming, shaking off winter slumber. Daffodils appear.
Summer, full strawberry moon, ushers in hot days of June. High tides fill the dune.
Autumn. Raindrops on the roof, golden leaves crunching underfoot, snuggle with a book.
Those are so beautiful. Our reading this morning is by Dr. Michelle L. Mills, a mindfulness coach and a practitioner in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. She says, "For the past year and a half, I've been receiving daily emails from USA Jobs, the employment site of the federal government. I used to receive notices about a huge variety of interesting jobs with U.S. Fish and Wildlife, CDC, Veterans Administration, NOAA, USDA, EPA, Forestry Service, along with others. Now the only departments are Navy, Air Force, and Homeland Security. It strikes me how clearly this expresses this administration's worldview. If all you emphasize is war and defending and expelling, your only relationship with the world is fear and aggression. That recognition stops me in my tracks. At any moment in our lives, we have a choice about how to inhabit the world. We can notice the child needing help, the wonder of salmon spawning in a river where they've not been witnessed for decades, the librarian feeding the curiosity of someone who wants to know about the history of country music or how to build a chicken coop. When I put myself in the shoes of any person who approaches the world with anger and distrust, my body has a physical response. I feel claustrophobic and contracted, ready to spring out and destroy anything that comes close because everything is a threat. It feels tense and vigilant, ready to kill and control in order to feel safe. The irony is that no matter how much control it gets, it will never feel safe. Its aggression makes it impossible to notice all the possibilities for beauty and kindness. That's not the way I want to inhabit the world. Every moment, our breath is a powerful antidote to the disembodiment of fear and anger. It's a way to return to ourselves, an invitation to feel our body on the earth and inhale the beauty of existence, to allow that to infuse our very essence, and then pause in silent reverence. And then to exhale in sacred offering to all beings.
Now is the time when we take a collection for the ongoing support of this Meetinghouse and our shared ministry. As we enjoy a musical reflection by the choir, we welcome your donations here in the sanctuary or online through PayPal or Venmo. You can find that information on our website, uumh.org. At this point, I invite Augie and some other volunteer ushers. So good, we've got lots of volunteers forward to take up our collection. On and off site, your offerings will now be gratefully received. Thank you, thank you. For some of us, Brene Brown says, the strong back is easier than the soft front. It's so hard to keep the front soft, she says, when there's so much mean-spiritedness and cruelty in the world today. Now, I know that I have been tempted to make a suit of armor for my front these days. I was standing with a crowd of demonstrators yesterday at the Salt Pond Visitor Center in Eastham. It was a rally to protect our national parks. And it was such a joyous gathering. And so many people going by honked their support to us. And then a guy in a big truck went by and screamed at us. "This is America," he shouted out his window, "and you can all go to hell." Instead of metal chain, my armor is easily woven together out of anger and disillusionment, bitterness and resentment, outrage and moral indignation. I feel my body contract, become vigilant. It's instinctive. I take some comfort that this is a very human response to these times and to being yelled at. I take solace that even my wise spiritual teachers have this inclination in them. Just over the last few weeks, Brene says, I've shared my opinions about politics on social media, and I've experienced pushback that took my breath away. I mean, everything from keep your mouth shut and don't talk about politics to violent threats against me or my family. My visceral response to that, she says, I'm going to be honest with y'all, my visceral response is strong back, armored front, like, come and take it. You want to do this? I get a ton of fight energy when I'm scared, she says. Her default, she says, is strong back, armored front, just strong everything. But it's no way to live, she says. Why? Because scared and strong are not the birthplace of love. Do you remember that pinwheel of shared values that we keep talking about, the new way of explaining Unitarian Universalism to the world? It feels like every one of those values is under attack right now. Justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, generosity, all under attack. And so we want to do battle. But what's at the center of that, holding all those values together? Love. So how can we remain true to that? How can we defend all those things and still keep love at the center? I so wanted to hang on to the loving feeling of the gathering yesterday, to my own love for the National Seashore and the people who work there, to my feeling of connection to those around me, even to my self-compassion when all the honking horns started to make my face spasm because of my disability and I had to leave early. If I had put my armor on, as my instincts told me to do, I wouldn't have been able to feel any of those things. Luckily, sometimes our spiritual practices can override the instincts of our bodies? Where is the place in us that can birth love, joy, trust, intimacy, courage? It's not our strong backs, Brene says. It's our vulnerability. Now, if you don't like the answer to that question, if you're like, what? Vulnerability? Ugh. What a terrible spiritual practice. Don't worry. You're not alone. Brene doesn't like her own answer either. I have spent my entire life trying to outrun and outsmart vulnerability, she says. I'm a fifth-generation Texan with a family motto of lock and load. So I come by my aversion to uncertainty and emotional exposure honestly and genetically. By middle school, she says, which is the time when most of us begin to wrestle with vulnerability, I began to develop and hone my vulnerability avoidance skills. Over time, I tried everything, she says, from the good girl with my perform, perfect, please routine, to clove-smoking poet, angry activist, corporate climber, and out-of-control party girl. At first glance, these may seem like reasonable, if not predictable, developmental stages, Brene says, but they were more than that for me. All of my stages were different suits of armor that kept me from becoming too engaged and too vulnerable. Each strategy was built on the same premise: keep everyone at a safe distance and always have an exit strategy. Now, even after she began researching and writing about the topic of vulnerability for her books, even after she had identified it as an essential part of living an authentic, loving life, Brene still hated the word, the feeling. In her book, Daring Greatly, she shares a conversation that she had with her therapist, Diana. I looked right at her, Brene remembers, and said, I freaking hate vulnerability. Brene said, I figured she's a therapist. I'm sure she's had tougher cases. Plus, the sooner she knows what she's dealing with, the faster we can get this whole therapy thing wrapped up. I hate uncertainty, she told Diana. I hate not knowing. I can't stand opening myself to getting hurt or being disappointed. It's excruciating. Do you know what I mean? Diana nodded. Yes, I know vulnerability. I know it well. It's an exquisite emotion. And she smiled. I'm sure I looked confused, Brene said, because I couldn't imagine what she was picturing. I was suddenly concerned for her well-being and my own. I said it was excruciating, not exquisite, she pointed out. And let me say this for the record, she continued, if my research didn't link being vulnerable with living a wholehearted life, I wouldn't be here. I hate how it makes me feel. What does it feel like? Diana asked. Like I'm coming out of my own skin? Like I need to fix whatever's happening and make it better? And if you can't? Well, then I feel like punching someone in the face. And do you? No, of course not. So what do you do? Clean the house? Eat peanut butter? Blame people? Make everything around me perfect? Control whatever I can? Whatever is not nailed down? When do you feel the most vulnerable? Diana asks. When I'm in fear. Renee looks up as Diana responds with that annoying pause and head nodding done by therapists to draw us out. When I'm anxious and unsure about how things are going to go, or if I'm having a difficult conversation, or if I'm trying something new or doing something that makes me uncomfortable or opens me up to criticism or judgment. Another annoying pause as the empathetic nodding continues. When I think about how much I love my kids and Steve and how my life would be over if something happened to them, when I see the people I care about struggling and can't fix it or make it better and all I can do is be with them, I see. I feel when I'm scared that things are too good or too scary, I'd really like for it to be exquisite, but right now, it's just excruciating. Can people change that? Yes, I believe they can. Well, can you give me some homework or something? Should I review the data? No data, no homework, Diana says. No assignments or gold stars in here. Less thinking, more feeling. Can I get to exquisite without having to really feel vulnerable in the process? No. Well, great, that's just awesome. Many of us don't like the concept of vulnerability because it feels like a weakness. Why on earth would we want to have a soft front when an armored one feels so much stronger? Brené Brown asked her friends and followers to finish this sentence. Vulnerability is, and here are some of their answers. Vulnerability is sharing an unpopular opinion, standing up for myself, asking for help, saying no, helping my 37-year-old wife with stage 4 breast cancer make decisions about her will. Hearing how much my son wants to make first chair in the orchestra and encouraging him while knowing it's probably never going to happen. Signing up my mom for hospice care. The first date after my divorce. Saying I love you first and not knowing if I'm going to be loved back. Sharing something I wrote or a piece of art that I made. Getting promoted and not knowing if I'm going to succeed. Falling in love. Trying something new. Getting pregnant after 3 miscarriages. Waiting for the biopsy to come back. Exercising in public, especially when I don't know what I'm doing and I'm out of shape. Admitting I'm afraid. Stepping up to the plate again after a series of strikeouts. Standing up for friends when someone else is critical or gossiping. Being accountable. Asking for forgiveness. Having faith. Do these sound like weaknesses? She asks. Does showing up to be with someone in deep struggle sound like a weakness? Is accepting accountability weak? Is stepping up to the plate after striking out a sign of weakness? No. Having soft fronts does require being vulnerable, but it is not weak. It requires so much strength, actually, to be open to the world, to feel things other than fear, to be tender with ourselves and with other people, to risk connection, to risk loving. Now, I want to acknowledge here that vulnerability isn't always something we can embrace. And it may not be something that you can embrace right now, and I get that. Sometimes our coping mechanisms are survival mechanisms. And so having an armored front may be what is getting us through the day. Brené Brown acknowledges that too. One of the greatest casualties of trauma, she says, is the loss of the ability to be vulnerable. And so when we define trauma as oppression, sexism, racism, she says, I have no choice but to leave my house with my armor on and carry the 20 tons of that throughout my day, no matter how crippling it is, no matter how heavy it is, because I am not physically safe in this world or in this environment. When that is the case, the task may not be having a soft front always, but finding a safe group with whom you can be your full self, to let your guard down, not with the world, but with a small circle of trusted friends or a faith community, to make sure that there are times when you can take that heavy armor off and breathe. Every moment, our breath is a powerful antidote to the disembodiment of fear and anger. We heard that earlier. It's a way to return to ourselves, an invitation to feel our body on the earth and to inhale the beauty of existence. Going back to those cruel comments that Brené Brown receives online, she says she reads them and starts to get into fight mode, but stops herself. You just can't have my hate, she says to them. I can't give up my soft front for you, because the price is too high. You know, this is a perfect time to start thinking about building our capacity for soft fronts, opening, not hardening to the world. Because all around us, nature is doing the exact same thing. Melissa Kirsch wrote about this in the New York Times morning briefing yesterday. I don't know if any of you read it. I think of this time of year as one of unclenching, she says, of letting go of that coiled, withholding winter self and opening up to spring, which officially arrived on Thursday. The unclenching, Melissa says, can sometimes be challenging. Deliberately moving from a more familiar place to an unfamiliar one isn't without its discomforts. Of course, this was easier for us to feel yesterday when it felt like spring, not today when it feels like it's back to winter. I was reading recently, Melissa says, about how when a chick is ready to hatch, it develops something called an egg tooth, a sharp little structure on its beak that it uses to peck its way out of the egg. How incredible, she says. And how do we grow our own egg teeth, generate our own tools to crack open our shells, escape our too tight enclosures, and emerge into the light? How do we grow our own egg teeth? generate our own tools to crack open our shells, escape our too tight enclosures, and emerge into the light? How do we remain open and willing? How do we keep love at the center? Strong backs, soft fronts. To be continued next week with wild hearts. Amen, and blessed be. Won't you? Thank you. Won't you please join me in singing our closing hymn? It's also in this teal hymnal. It's number 1012, When I Am Frightened. Number 1012 in the teal hymnals, When I Am Frightened. Please rise as you are able. You may be seated.
It has become our practice to pose a question based on the theme of the service each week. It can be a topic of sharing at coffee hour today or with friends during the week. If you'd like to delve deeper into this topic, we invite you to our midweek Zoom coffee hour on Tuesday at 5 p.m. If you're not on our email folk list and need that Zoom link, please let Kenneth in the office know. And our question this week is, what helps you to crack out of your own hard protective shell? What helps you to crack out of your own hard protective shell?
We love having kids here today. Thank you all so much, families. I'll close with these words from our song from the choir today. I am open and I am willing, for to be hopeless, which seems so strange, it dishonors those who go before me. So lift me up with the light of change. Go in peace.